Good morning, friends. This morning topic is empathy, not sympathy, is the need of the hour to have global peace and harmony. Friends, there is no denying the fact that the world badly needs empathy. What is empathy? Being in the shoes of others, understanding the feeling and emotions of the other people. The fact that the world is at the verge of collapse. There is no harmony, there is no mutual understanding, there is no empathy at all. We should all ask ourselves the question of what is the biggest threat to peace and harmony. The answer that you will get is the lack of empathy. Friends, we should all work towards eliminating that trait. When you ask yourself this question, that what is the real threat to peace and global peace and harmony, then you will understand that the answer comes as the lack of empathy. People have very different values and interests that really have the possibility to contradict and hence cause conflict. Conflicts are not exclusively negative and can lead to great development and growth. On the other hand, conflicts paired with the concept of survival of the fittest and egocentric mindset can lead to inequalities, frustration, and violence. Actually, the people of the modern world have become egocentric. Most of the wars between the superpowers take place only because of egocentric mindset. The society is now splitting only because of egocentric mindset. We have to avoid, we have to remove this, I mean, demerit of being egocentric because it leads to inequalities, frustration, and violence. Violence can be expressed not only in the direct form but also through cultural and structural form. All these sorts of violence and unsolved conflicts are the cause of lack of peace, global peace, and harmony. And that is really giving us the threat of our survival. After getting to know different perspective and theoretical framework of how to describe the world political and interrelated system, we are still convinced that with more empathy than sympathy, the world would be more peaceful. The framework of cosmopolitanism supported me and very much the world in getting the personal statement. We think empathy is the underlying condition of this theory in the following, and we will examine the relation between empathy and the international relations theory of cosmopolitanism. Cosmopolitanism puts the human being in the center of focus instead of the state, national interest, and capitalism. Friends, this implies a great need for empathy. We see empathy in the context of cosmopolitanism as the social glue holding individuals together. Empathy defined as the ability to put oneself into the shoes of the other people, understanding their circumstances and feeling the pain and joy of that person. Moreover, empathy is not only about the emotional connection, how we would feel in their shoes, but includes the ability to understand how do they feel in the shoes. Therefore, it is not only the compassion and sympathy, but the cognitive deconstruction to decrypt the epistemic stances and worldviews of the other party. Especially in conflict, there is a need to go for a reconciliation. When there is a conflict between individuals or between society, between faith and faith, there is a need to reconciliation. We must go for reconciliation rather than violence or rather than egocentric mindset. We should reconcile with our perception and ideas when it is needed for the sake of the global peace. People in our country, even in India, the political, the parliamentarians, they have been trying to divide the society just by creating some sort of, confusion, some sort of division between society and society. So this is the reason, because they are not in the shoes of those people who are the sufferers. They are not actually having the empathy with those people who have been the sufferer for several years. That is the reason why even our nation, which is a very good democratic country, has lost the understanding and the bonding between man and man. There have been conflict due to caste, religion, reservation, and inequality in India, only because the political parties are not empathetic to the people who have suffered for several decades. They are only thinking to be in chair. How they should establish this kind of, global understanding among the people of our country, or for the country of the world. This recent war between USA, Israel, and Iran is also an example of the conflict, which ultimately, gives us the idea that it is only because of US's egocentric mind and the Israel's egocentric mind, that they are so egocentric that they are not ready to listen to the people of Iran, the people of other countries. They are only thinking that what we decide is right and that is the way to bring out peace. No, conflict is not going to resolve the issues of hatred and global uncertainty. We should always think that there is a great importance of the skillest of the mediator, that is empathetic, the understanding of the worldview of the conflicting parties, and not the top of that. That is the ability to transfer that understanding to the respective. Implementing this form of empathy in our societies, all forms of discrimination or racism would fall apart. Most of the time, India undergoes the conflict of caste, creed, and religion. Why? This is the question. Why? It is only because people are not empathetic towards one another. They only think about their own ego. They don't think about what the society needs. The society needs a kind of culmination of ideas and thoughts. A society needs a kind of harmony, but that harmony is missing day by day. It is all the political parties, their selfish motive to be in chair for a long time, that has created conflict in our society, and this is going to be disastrous for the growth of democratic values. And I don't think that anyone will be able to resolve the issues of global conflicts or domestic conflict without having empathy to one another. And that is what I wanted to emphasize. Thank you. There is always a need of empathy rather than sympathy for global peace and harmony. And that is what Eddie Singh believes in. Thank you. Have a nice morning.